and I'm so excited for this episode. Really, truly. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
of course, y'all rep Duluth proudly. I love the natural beauty every time I'm on the North Shore. But for you, I'm just curious, musically, what's the best part of coming from Duluth? What's the scene like there?
Those are two different questions.
Me personally,
Yes.
they are busted right out the gate. For me personally, I mean, it's a lot of the history and the culture that the city offers. It's not like one of those just flat cities with your, Walmart shopping centers and what have you. I mean, we have those things, but we also have some of the most beautiful buildings, architecturally speaking, that you can probably find anywhere. And we also have the biggest freshwater lake. So a lot of people think it's an ocean, but it's just a lot of that beauty just really can inspire you to look within a lot. And also it's cold quite a bit. So that encourages you to sit down and jam on your guitar and write music as much as possible. So that helps.
More writing and recording time, I'm sure, most of the year. Anyway.
Yeah, you don't really want to go outside too much.
No, totally get it. Well, and I know Canal Park gets busy, like especially in the fall, because I've been there with all the other leaf peepers, and Canal Park is like a zoo every time I'm there.
Leaf peepers?
They call them leaf peepers. We just want to see the leaves in the fall because we're excited to see the colors.
It's like that all the way up the shore, though. I took
it?
Grand Marais trips a couple years back, and it's a swarm all the way up to Grand Marais. It's bad. It's bad.
Another reason to stay inside and focus on the music. I get it. So how did all of you meet to begin with?
So I guess I'll kind of take the lead on that one too. It all started when I went to a local restaurant that was featuring an acoustic duo, and that acoustic duo was Mr. Josh, the Crypt Keeper, along with another gentleman that we will not name at this moment in time. However, they were just really good. I love their music they were playing. I really vibed with it, and I didn't necessarily play an instrument at the time, but I did play an instrument back in high school, and so I just had a real appreciation for the music, and I just looked at that, and I followed them at numerous shows. Jevin, he was their percussionist, so he would frequent the cajon at those shows with that acoustic duo. And that was really cool to see too. It was a real nice, laid back, chill vibe. But it was music that we all knew. And then when they did originals, I mean, they were originals that were really groovy. You could get into, and you're like, wow, who wrote that? And they're like, we did. And you'd be like, oh shit. So that eventually blossomed into just me coming out of my shell and inviting them over to my place to jam. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick up the bass guitar again, And so I decided to do that. I was pretty rusty, but ultimately from that meeting, the counterpart of Josh, of that acoustic duo, approached me and asked me if I wanted to do a 90s cover band with Jevin. And so I said, well, sure, why not? I just want to play bass again and have fun. And so I did that. We learned, I don't know, something like 35 cover songs.
It was at
something
least
along
40.
those lines.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we had these dialed down to a T. I mean, we were like going to be the best 90s cover band. We were so locked in. But then this other guy just dropped. Yeah, he just dropped everything out of nowhere. And he was just like, I quit. And I was just like, man, I just want to play bass with some guys. Like, how hard is that? And so Jevin was like, well, let me hit up Josh and see what Josh wants to do. And so Josh has a reputation of not really enjoying doing cover music as much as original music.
Oh.
So in our first meeting that we had, he was like, I don't want to be a 90s cover band. I don't want any part of that. However, I'm down to write music. And I was like, oh, fucking A, right. Let's go write some music. And so then he came over and we wrote one of our first songs together pretty much in that first initial meeting. And I think that one's late in the morning that we have out on Spotify and streaming platforms and all that good stuff. So pretty cool how
Okay.
that all blossomed. And then just from that writing energy that we found together, it was just like, hey, what else can we do with this? And so Indecent Proposal was born.
So for you, the love of bass came early. Jevin, Josh, how about you? What your love for your instruments? Was that an early affair as well?
Josh, you
You
go
can go
ahead.
first, Jeff. Oh, okay, fine.
We
I
both had the same
this is a
idea.
wine pump, by the way. I realize it's off camera, but this is I'm pumping my wine pump.
Okay, fine.
I
I'll go
just looked at
first.
the
I'll go
screen. I'm
first.
like, oh fuck.
If
Oh
you want,
man.
I can go first.
Yeah. No, I didn't really like playing guitar at first because I started when I was 6, and it was like I started playing piano, and I didn't like that because all the kids in like the piano learning room were weird, and they were into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I thought that was weird. And the guitar room was like way cooler, so I went in there, and I didn't really like practicing for a couple of years. Probably it was one of the like go to your room until you practice for an hour type deals, and then
Mm.
I I don't know where I was. I think I was at school, like some rehearsal or whatever, and all like the man, it was like 6th grade. All the girls were just going nuts after I played probably the shittiest version of Blackbird ever. You know? But I was like, oh, people. I was like, this is cool. I love and I'm not afraid to admit it. I love the attention, and it was later in life I found out that music brings me peace as well, and then it
Mm.
was just a matter of figuring out how to make those two things work together. And so I don't know if it was I don't think I'm in love with any of the instruments. I just like making music and making stuff that people like.
Yeah. Jevin, how about you?
What about you,
Drums,
Kevin?
same thing?
I mean, I guess my love for drums kind of came early on in life. It kind of came like around like 1 or 2, and I was beating pots and pans in the kitchen, annoying the absolute ever loving shit out of my mother, and just and then I thought like later on I was like it's like 4 or 5. It's like, oh, I kind of want to play guitar, and I was like, I don't know if I can play guitar because I have fine motor skills issues in my fingers. So I can't do all like the fingering and the things for like normal guitaring unless I really put my mind to it. So I kind of just got frustrated and I gave it up. And you know, I later on I got like at 7 I got like my first like crappy music around drum set that I thought I could work my skills out on, and I spent the better part of the next 10 years after that just playing along the songs, playing along to YouTube videos. And it wasn't until I think I was like 17 I started playing at this local bar up in Superior, Wisconsin called Izzy's. And they
Is
had this like open,
is
yeah, and Izzy's had this like this really cool open mic night. I knew a lot of the guys there, and I was like, oh man. And that was like the first time I'd ever really been told, hey, you're a really, really good drummer. I'm like, oh, I'm not that good. They're like, no, you're really good. I'm like, uh, and I was like, that was my first like compliment because I didn't know how to accept it. I was like, I guess, sure. And like everyone after that, I mean, everything after that, I met Josh at an open mic night at Izzy's too. Him and the other person we shall not name were there, and that's how I got in with them. That was my first band, and I started playing cajon with them. I learned
we
it's
have
actually
videos of
kind of
that.
funny. We have
Not the
videos.
time we met, not the night we met, but we have videos of probably a week after that.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
and I one of the other guy in the band was like, "Do you know what a cajon is?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what that is." He's like, learn it by Monday and you're in the band. I'm like, deal.
Rude.
I went
Was
down
that your? Was
to.
that your? Was that? I didn't know how that went down. I
That's
just
how he
like,
said it. He's like,
that's
he was like,
shitty.
if you can learn it by next week, you're in. And I'm like, okay. And so
Wow.
I went down to Forest Lake. I picked up this like $80 cajon that I got off Facebook Marketplace. I learned all the mechanics of it. And by Monday or Tuesday, I had practice with both of them and I nailed it. And I was like, yes. And then he asked me, he was like, out of curiosity, hop on the drum set. And I played one of their songs that they did. And he's like, holy crap, you literally nailed that. Like you had the image that I had in my head and you put it into like physical form. I'm like, did I don't know. Is that what he did? And he's like, yeah, dude, you're fucking
That sounds
sick.
like something he would say.
It also shows you how
know.
pretentious and arrogant he was that he assumed Jevin couldn't figure out how a cube works.
I mean, honestly, I was like,
Like,
Yeah.
sir.
I think he can
That's
figure it out, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, not to downplay Jevin's abilities or anything, but that's a funny, ironic statement. Learn this box over the weekend, and you will get the gig. Like, is that supposed to intimidate me? Like it's in the box, right?
Now.
Probably.
Oh yeah, but
More. Yes.
Probably. That was a power move. I'm calling it now. That was a power move.
It was
His whole life
probably
is a power move.
Well, so
But
that was
He
hilarious.
stole his
Learn
mom's
this box.
house.
oh no.
Well, so I did take some time and I watched the video for Behind Her Eyes. Beautiful, beautiful setting. I know the setting in particular means something to all of you, and I would love for you to expand on that.
Yeah, so I mean, the short answer is I went to school there and graduated there. But you know, my siblings have all gone to school there. I have vivid childhood memories of me going to my sister's Grease play in that auditorium, where they actually drove an old coupe out on stage, and they were all dancing on it and everything. Well, like that happened in the same spot Jevin was playing drums in our music video. Like,
Yeah.
that's super cool to me that, you know, I hold those vivid childhood memories, and then I've also kind of come full circle and sealed it up with my band has locked in one of the best music videos that honestly will ever be shot in Denfeld, because I don't know if you've checked YouTube for Denfeld High School video footage of any performances, but you know, not to toot our own horn, but that's the best thing to come out of there, hands down.
Honk,
You know?
No, it does look great. It
So,
was I loved the lighting. I mean, and I definitely got just from the lyrics and from the like the vibe that there's definitely some sort of conflict going on there. Tell me more about the single itself, Behind Her Eyes. What should the world know about this? What should we get?
it is it's a song about a girl who probably just doesn't know where she I don't know. It's I wrote it because I didn't want to be talking to my ex at the time, and fucking she was like trying to talk, and so I just made myself busy.
Oh,
And that was the song that came out of it. And so like I don't know. I don't like to go into what, because I don't write
so
them
all songs,
about anything. Yeah. They're just like I just write them and that's what they are. And like
and
it's
ta-da.
yeah.
Got
yeah.
it. Okay.
So I mean, most of our songs, they start with either Josh or myself recording a voice memo of just
Mhm.
a melody, a riff, whatever. And then we just build it off of there. And so, you know, Josh wrote that main melody at an ex-girlfriend's house. And he was playing around on her guitar and her little tiny little practice amp. And he just liked the way that it sounded. It was very tinny from what I remember.
Yeah, it was a
just
shitty.
like
It
you
was a
would
shitty
imagine
little,
coming out of a very
Fender amp. And then I wrote like I
yeah.
wrote I wrote, I think, the chorus, the chorus, the hook I think was like the only thing that existed when I sent it to Terry, because Terry came up with the first then verse, the "She's been out all night, no one ever blah." Like
Mm.
that was kind of his, like where he kind of jumped in, and then it was kind of both of us from that point on. But it was, yeah, it usually kind of starts like that in some orientation. Somebody comes up with something and then pockets it in a drive, and then everybody chips away on it.
Got it. Well, we love the
Yeah.
originals, but I
But
know you're not opposed to covers either. So, how many of the covers that you do, how many of them are like actual influences of yours?
I would say pretty much all of them. Like we do Oasis, and Oasis is a big influence for us, not only from a songwriting standpoint, but from their whole branding. That's
Mhm.
part of what Indecent Proposal is kind of borrowing from, is that
It doesn't get any
off,
better than Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
Kicking
yeah.
shit, throwing shit, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. We'll calm down, but not yet.
And so that,
uh,
but yeah, I mean, we do Red Hot Chili Peppers, and me being a bassist, that's something that I really enjoy. Jevin is more of a hard rock kind of metal kind of guy, so we have some Foo Fighters in there.
yes.
Obviously, you can't really play most metal songs to your average bar crowd.
Yeah, no,
But
not the stuff that I listen to.
yeah,
Which is so unfair when you think about it. It's
but
really unfair.
I think it's
Really
fair.
not utilizing
yeah.
that double pedal yet.
Yeah, you know that it's not really allowed when you're playing Free Falling, and they're asking you if you could turn it down if you're being too loud or what
Oh
have you.
boy.
It's like,
Yeah,
really?
don't ask
Oh.
me.
Free Falling?
You better find somebody else to ask,
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
That would just be soul crushing.
It ends up being soul
I
crushing
mean,
for
I
whoever
think it's
decided to come
happened,
up and
but
ask.
So,
Tell
just
you
out of
that.
curiosity, what are all of you
true that.
listening to now in general?
Oh, that's a good question. I well, I'm always listening to Bob Dylan, but I'm
Yep.
listening to "Selfish" by Justin Timberlake because that's my 2-year-old's favorite thing to dance to.
Oh, cute.
I've just been listening
Jevin, I
to
think.
I've just been listening to a lot of, honestly, our own music. We're in the process of doing a couple songs, so I don't.
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of matching them to and referencing. I just love. I'm not a huge Creed fan in terms of their like songs, but I'm a huge fan of their mixes and their masters, and so I've been listening to a lot
Mm.
of Creed for that reason, to kind of gauge where we're at. But other than that, I'm a huge trap fan. I listen to a lot of Migos. I love Quavo. I love Offset, R.I.P. Takeoff. You
Mhm.
know, I'm a trap guy.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm a blend. I'm going to say I'm a blend of all three of you. Just after one of the bits and pieces that I've heard, because Jevin's the rock guy and the metal guy. Everyone else is
I
kind of
am
like,
just I'm a huge fan of Sleep Token. I
yes,
absorb all of what Sleep Token is doing right now. Sleep
yeah,
Token's just killing it. I
yeah,
just I want to try and be their drummer, but like I know that's not even a remote possibility because of how they just exploded. But
Yeah, for a
like
couple of
I
reasons, it's not
try.
a remote possibility. But yeah,
Namely, you're in the band already.
let's go with that one. Let's go with they
Right.
just blew up, and that's the one.
But no, like I
That's
take a
the one.
lot from I take a lot from metal music, and I take from what I can and where I can, and I try and infuse it into what we do. So really, I kind of just I listen to a lot of metal, but I listen to a lot of trap. I listen to a lot of country. I listen to a lot of just I listen to a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like
Mhm.
I kind of try to blend what I can where I can and make stuff sound good, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, and expand the ear palette to something other than 4/4. That's a goal.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Because as a listener,
Always.
I always appreciate that. I'm a little bit proggy sometimes too, so I definitely obviously appreciate Mike Portnoy, for example. Love him.
Yeah.
Love everything he does.
I can't do half the things that guy does.
I know.
Dream
Someday.
Theater songs are just math, and I
Yeah.
can't do that very well on the drums. I just it's a lot of individual limb
Petrucci.
movement that I can't quite configure. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm just not gonna. So one of these days I'll try.
I love it. And well, so you've been hinting this entire time that there's new stuff on the way. There's new things that we're looking forward to. Tell me a little bit about that. What can we look forward to?
Jerry?
So we are working on we are working on 3 different releases. We haven't quite decided how we're going to stagger their release dates.
We're like saw blade grass. You know, we only go one way easily, and that's forward.
And
Right.
Don't walk
good
through
one.
us.
I like that.
I love it. Thank you so much, all of you, really, for your time and for letting us know what we should be looking forward to. The best place to catch all of that, I'm sure, is social media. So we'll keep an eye out there. Thank you.
Thank you.